there's two answers to that question. First of all, I started riding in 1958. So if we look at miles from 1958, it would be somewhere in the neighborhood of 920,000.
920,000.
If we look at the answer of on the particular motorcycle I'm sitting on at this moment, it has 224,448 miles on it, and it's 46 months old. Going back to 1958, I was 11 years old, and my mother died, so I was living with my grandparents. And my dad showed up one weekend with a Cushman Highlander in the back of his 56 Oldsmobile. And that was my beginning. If you're not familiar with that, that's like a 3.5 horsepower centrifugal clutch, no transmission. We lived on a dirt road, and that's how I started, was riding a Cushman, and have progressed from there. The bike I'm sitting on is my 31st bike, and my 32nd bike sitting at the house at the moment. So, well, it would have to be the one I'm sitting on right now. I call her Red. It's a Shriner Edition Harley Davidson Ultra Classic Limited, and I'm a one-tone paint jobber. I like red. 5 of my 6 Harleys have been red. And so it really should be Red 5, but they've all been red. So she has taken me across Canada from coast to coast. I've ridden in the province, every state in the continent. She's been my jewel. Oh, I would say definitely not. Harley's come an awful long ways, and you either love them or you hate them. Now, of the 32 motorcycles that I've owned, only 6 have been Harleys, so I speak with a wide range of experiences. I've gone the SJMs, and I've owned the world's fastest production motorcycle. And I've probably owned the slowest production in my Cushman. So I've kind of seen it all. The best bike is the one you like.
That is a good answer.
I go out and I start it up and it rumbles a little bit and we take off. I have a rather eclectic musical taste, shall we say, and I'm not a loud pipes type of guy. I don't go for that bullshit. Pardon me. I like to listen to my music, and you go down like crossing the desert, and you're out there by yourself, and I'm listening to maybe Beethoven's Fifth or Vivaldi's Four Seasons or something, and it just puts you in a whole different world.
Oh, that sounds like a great time right there.
It is for me. It's not for everybody, but it's what I do and what I love to do.
One of my good friends answered that question about what type of motorcycle a person should get. He kind of answered it very similarly to you. He said, the one that you will truly enjoy riding. That's what he said.
Yeah.
He didn't start telling me about specs or nothing. He says, the one that you'll enjoy riding.
That's it exactly. And it's kind of like people ask me quite frequently, what was your favorite trip? And without trying to sound like a smart ass, the next one. You know, that's the best answer I can give you. There are no bad trips. Some are better than others, but there are no bad trips. Well, kind of a long answer to that. One, I don't think safe. I think enjoy. I mean, I don't mean to say that I drive stupid. I just say being safe is not what it's all about.
Mm-hmm.
It's enjoying your place, the scenery you're seeing. I tend to ride a little aggressively at times. If you've ever ridden in Arkansas, you've probably heard of the Pig Trail, and it's a lot like the Tail of the Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
And I've ridden the Tail of the Dragon. I couldn't even tell you how many times I've been up and down that thing. I don't try to run 100 miles an hour in a straight line. You can teach a monkey to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, to take a 20-mile corner at 40 or 50 or 60, yeah, I might do that, you know.
Fact of the matter is that you have been riding since 55, and you are still giving me this interview. So this means that you have something, you got something about your riding style that is safe, even if you don't want to admit it. But you know, there's a lot of people out there that crash.
Let me put it this. Let me put it this way. And I use what I call line of sight, and I adjust my speed to how far I can see. Now, and riding as much as I do, you know, I know exactly what my bike is capable of taking corners or going straight or fighting across the wind or how long it takes to stop. And I adjust my speed to the sight that I have, you know, what I can see in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best answer I can give you.
If you're going too fast, you stop seeing some things, or what exactly does that mean?
Well, back to the original premise, I'll restate it. Line of sight, speed control. Knowing, and motorcycles react so much quicker than cars or trucks. You develop a feel, especially if you're on a familiar road, you know what the road's going to do, and you develop a feel for the traffic on the road. There's a lot of traffic, no traffic. For instance, riding Pig Trail, and they have 10-mile-an-hour curves on that.
Mm-hmm.
In the wintertime, when all the leaves are down, you can see through the forest and see what's coming.
Mm-hmm.
In the summertime, with all the leaves on, you can't. So you might take it a little slower in the summer than you could in the winter, assuming you don't have snow and ice on the road. But it's being able to react in the distance that you can see, because you never know what's in the road in front of you. It could be a stall truck, it could be a deer, it could be one night actually, I was coming home on Pig Trail from a long trip, and it was pouring rain, and I'm familiar with the road. I know exactly what it's going to do, and I come around the corner, and there's a tree blown down across the road.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of those hole-pinching in your seat situations. I survived it. I went on, made a mental note, you know. Watch for blown down trees on windy nights. And
did you have to like really get on the brakes pretty hard, or?
Well, I had to go to the shoulder, and Pig Trail doesn't have shoulders.
Uh-huh.
Got a little swirly. I got around it and said, "Oh, thank you, God," and kept going.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite sayings is, "God takes care of kids, idiots, and bow hunters," and he's blessed me, shall we say.
You can
I've
definitely
seen
say
just
that.
about every circumstance you could get into on the highway at one time or the other, and I'm still here.
Has the motorcycles that you rode ever broke down, or did they basically just keep running?
Well, by and large, they've all kept running. Now, the motorcycle I'm on with all those miles on it. I was in Nova Scotia in 2018 and puttering along, and the initial oiling system that Harley had put in the Milwaukee 8 didn't do a good job at low RPMs, and I was going through town about 20 miles an hour. It was a 30-kilometer speed limit, just putting, and I lost a cam bearing and took out the motor. So everything's not perfect, but if that's the only experience you go through in 63 years of riding, you're an unlucky soul.
Mm-hmm. So when your motor did it seize up, or what happened to it?
Well, it didn't seize up. It started making such a racket. I pulled over and checked the oil, and the oil was fine. And then I started back up and rode a mile and pulled over and called a Harley dealer because I knew it wasn't going to take me anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's
Harley Davidson put a brand new full block motor in under warranty. It just happened to take 3 weeks out of my trip, you know.
Wow, they did it under warranty. Okay, that's
Yes.
really nice. How did they? How did you get it to the dealership? Did you ride it over, or did they come and bring?
Oh no, they come and got me. If you're a member of Hog, all authorized dealers will come and get you.
Mm-hmm.
And you may have to wait a while. In my case, it was several hours, but they come and got me, picked me up, took me. This was in Big Boys Toys in Moncton, New Brunswick was the dealer. And they come and got me, brought me to the shop. By this time, it's almost closing time, so they couldn't do anything. They found me a motel, took me to the motel, come and got me the next morning and brought me back. And then by that time, they discovered that this was going to be a new engine.
Mm-hmm.
And warranties come out of Milwaukee, so he said, it's going to be 3 weeks. Well, I wasn't in the mood to spend 3 weeks in Moncton, New Brunswick, so they took me and found a U-Haul. I rented a 1-ton, and then took it back to the shop, and we were trying to figure out how to secure the bike inside with no tie downs, and they come up with a great idea. They had a new Harley on the lot that they hadn't uncrated. So they took it off the pan, put my bike on the pan, secured it to the pan, slid it in, and I drove that Dodge truck 2,391 miles back to my hometown dealer.
Wow.
And he unloaded it with a forklift, and a while later, I'm back on the road. You can't say enough about the dealerships in Harley Davidson. We won't discuss the motorcycles, but they have the best dealers in the world, hands down.
That's a great story, and I've never had an experience like that at a dealer, because usually it's quite different.
I travel a lot, obviously, and you make great friends. And all my friends at my hometown dealer, when I'm going on a trip, I say, "What would you like me to bring you back?" And well, this year, bring me back some T-shirts from Sturgis. And when I went across to Canada in 19, I went from side to coast. One of my friends said, "I'd like some poker chips." So I brought him back about, 10 or 12 poker chips from different dealers in Canada. You take care of the friends, you take care of you. Let me tell you, that's what life's all about.
That definitely is right. How often is this something non-stop to your travels, or is it you spend some time at home and then you just decide to go for a few months?
Well, yes. Again, kind of a complicated answer. My wife died in 2016, and I just retired earlier that year. And after she died, it was, there was no pill you could take to cure the hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought Red 3 months after she died, put her name on the cowling, which her nickname. She was a redhead, so her nickname was Red Black.
Mm-hmm.
If you saw my bike, you would see red black with 2 cross roses on the cowling.
Mm-hmm.
And sold my home, my car, my truck, and left. Literally at that time, I reduced my life to where I could carry on the bike. And I took a 25,995 mile trip, which I had the problem in Nova Scotia with. Didn't know where I was going. Didn't have a clue. Didn't even know if I was ever coming back. And I had so much fun. I've enjoyed life so much riding the road. I now rent a cabin out in the woods and take off. I live with myself, and to the extent that I have the time and the money, I just take off and go. I have one rule about trips: don't plan them. Pick a direction.
Interesting.
I joke about it. You come to an intersection, you flip a coin. And that's how I enjoy riding, whether it's a day trip or a year trip. Just don't plan this thing to death.
Mm-hmm.
Just take off and let the wind and the weather and the road tell you what to do.
Very, very, very interesting. I just hope that that you keep talking, because it's just very. I love the way you're talking about this type of stuff.
Well, I tell you, I do both. I camp and I motel.
Mm-hmm.
And I've camped in just about everywhere. One of my favorites is in Bar Harbor, Maine, at the Hadley Campground, and my all-time favorite campground is in just south of Livingston, Montana. It's called Pine Creek Campground. It's a national forest, and I've gotten to know the managers of it well. I've camped there, I think, 7 times. I always make a point of going by because it's just so beautiful. It's about 46 miles or so from the north central entrance to Yellowstone. Mm-hmm. And I just do it. Like I said, don't plan. Just take off.
Mm-hmm.
So,
John, are you going to go to?
You can plan a good trip to death.
Uh-huh. Are you going to go to Sturgis this year?
I'm not a rally type. I've gone the last 3 years. This year, I left the house, rode straight through 1,137 miles, I think it was, in 21 hours. Got into Sturgis at 4:30 in the morning, taking the sign on my bike. Met all my great friends that worked at rallies with J&D, had coffee with them, and left.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I don't plan my life, I guess. I may go back to Sturgis, I may not.
Mm-hmm.
I love the idea. It's great scenery. It's hard to enjoy with that many folks.
With that many, I can see that.
There's some rides that I make. They have a Toys for Tots in Tulsa, and I made that 17 years straight, and that was a great experience. The most bikes we ever had was 11,000 something one time, and you go through town, they block off all the roads, you're 4 abreast, and to see 33,000 gifts all piled in the center of an auditorium for kids
Mm.
If that doesn't make you smile and love the world, let me tell you, you need help.
Wow.
I always make the wreaths for the veterans. I'm a veteran, and I wouldn't miss that for anything, except this year. Of course, they wouldn't let us do it because of COVID. But we went anyway. We just didn't have any wreaths to put out.
Mm-hmm. John, well, if you don't mind, what did you do? What kind of work did you do when you were younger?
Well, again, I got to answer that kind of a long story. When I graduated from college, I was a CPA, and run a CPA practice after a while, and had a lot of clients in the oil and gas, and my love is outside. So I shut down my CPA practice, went in the oil field, and put 37 years working in the oil field, and loved it. 110 degrees or 10 below, it was outside, and that's what I love to do. Met some of the best and some of the worst people in the world in the business, but that's life. You can do that anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I was concerned about making it because where I live out in the woods, I don't have cell phone service. And I was trying to figure if I was brave enough to negotiate 3 miles of muddy road, but no big deal. Well, I got to add one more story to this interview.
Oh, please do.
In Arkansas, there was a little place called Dresco, and Denko owns and operates it. It's a motorcycle shop, and he's a great individual. And I hadn't seen him in a while, so I decided I needed a cup of coffee. It's about 150 miles, 155 miles from my place to his business. So I'm puttering over, and I know the road's pretty good, but I turned on my GPS and just see how many miles are left, and I'm going through the road, and it says turn right. And I turned right and took the road, and nice little black dot. And a couple of miles, it turned to mud. And I had 16 miles of going through the Ozark National Forest on a 900-pound Harley Davidson in a wet, rainy day, and feared for my life, but I survived it. I finally got there, and I told Dave, I said, "The hell with the coffee, I need a whiskey."
Well, coffee won't do it.
That's life on a motorcycle. Like I said, there are no bad rides, just some are better than others.
John, what type of some long distance riders I've noticed they run those car tires on the back. Is that something you practice, or do you run regular motorcycle tires?
No, I've known that's called dark side.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to be said for that. I have friends that I ride with that do that. I don't personally. I followed a good friend for many, many, many miles on a Gold Wing, and he was running car tires, and I'd watch him lay into a curve, and I would see that half-inch rubber on the ground, and I said, no, not for me. I don't run car tires. And I'm not saying anything plus or minus about him. I just don't. And that I followed on his Gold Wing, he went to Alaska on an FJR with a car tire on it. So, like I said, don't use me as an example. They work for some people. They just don't. My mind won't accept it, and just leave it at that. I like a motorcycle tire. Because I know what it's going to do.
Understood. Well, I don't know what else unless there's something you can something about another trip you could tell me. I'd love to listen. But those are the questions I had. Let's see.
Well, I will. I'll start up Red, and we'll go somewhere here. Speaking of tires. Red is on her 20th set of tires.
You, Red is eating them up.
Well, it's an obsession. I wrote an article once about being addicted, and I'm addicted to writing. When I'm writing, I'm happy. It's when I'm not writing that I get to be an old man and hurt and ache. But as long as I'm on that bike, I'm doing well.
John, what?
74 last Friday, and it's been one hell of a ride.
John, what you just said just kind of reminded me of another question that I sometimes do ask, and what would you say a motorcycle is to you? Because it's different for everybody, and I've gotten a whole bunch of different answers. What is it to you personally?
For me, it's my life. I can, even back when I was working, I'd take the very worst day that I'd had. Everything goes wrong, and people aren't where they're supposed to be, and things aren't going like they are, and life bears down on you. If I can get on that motorcycle and just hit the road, everything goes away. And that's what a motorcycle is for me. It's my drug, and I'm addicted.
So for you, it's your life. For me, it's a psychologist. Like it's something that also kind of fixes you up, when you're broken up. That's what it does to me. And thank you for answering all those.
That's what it does. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's very similar.
Open road and a horizon out there somewhere.
John, thank you.
It's been my pleasure.
Thank you very much, John. I really, really appreciate it. It was an honor speaking to someone who put that many miles down. Thank you very much for giving me this interview.
My pleasure. Have a good day, sir.
Thank you, sir. I will hopefully see you out there sometime. Okay. Bye-bye.
Looking forward.